Hello and welcome to the coronavirus update video number 29.0. My name's Adrian Cockings and welcome again to my baby daughter's nursery. We did have a couple of questions yesterday saying what's with the cats. Now, yes, I do love cats and I have two, but this is my baby girl's daughter, my baby daughter's nursery room, so this is why of course it's got all the cute animals in the background. So for anyone who is wondering where I am, this is where I am. Anyway, today is Monday the 13th of April 2020 and boy do we have a lot of news to go over today. But let's quickly talk about yesterday, because of course yesterday we went out as we normally do, live. It was Easter yesterday, so I really hope you enjoyed your Easter. Maybe you will be able to spend it with your family if you're in lockdown with them, or at least you could give them a phone call or a FaceTime just to be a little bit closer with them as well. And you guys actually met my family as well. Well, my wife and my baby daughter as well, Lily. My wife is called Paloma, and you guys were all so kind yesterday with all of your messages saying how beautiful they were. And yes, I am a very lucky man. So for anyone who has commented yesterday just saying thank you for everything that they're doing in the background, and yes, you are correct. My wife is doing so much in the background yesterday, especially with translating things as well. And is that my dog at the door? Maybe, or the cat. We shall see anyway. So yes, you saw my family yesterday as a special Easter treat, but today let's jump into the news. So as always, I like to do a quick rundown on all the numbers that have been in Spain first of all. The recovery rates, infected rates, etc. And we talk about the last 24 hours as well in news. So, oh, there's Bubbles. She did get herself in. So for anyone who wanted to know, this is my cat, Bubbles, one of my cats. This is the older one, who is only about 7 years old. And yes, she is very pretty. But this one is called Bubbles. And she's looking to go outside right now, so I might let her out very quickly. So you can say hi to Bubbles. But let's get her, if she wants to go out anyway. Don't think she does. Let's go on to the numbers then. God, I'm all distracted today. So the numbers today for infected, we have 169,496 people infected, and that is 3,477 over the last 24 hours, which is a very good day. Hold on 1 second. Go on then, out you go. There we go. So yes, very low numbers, which is what we were expecting, so this is good coming through. For the recovery rate, we have 64,727 people who have recovered from the coronavirus, and that is 2,336 over the last 24 hours. Again, another good number to see. It's not as high as what it has been during last week, but it's still a good number. And unfortunately, we always have to go through the death rates, but these are lower than they have been since a long time, I think for the last 2 weeks at least. So in total there are 17,489 deaths, and that is 517 in the last 24 hours. Now this is a great number to see, and in fact, talking about the numbers here, we had some other numbers coming out. I have talked about this previously, but the people who are frontline workers such as health workers, nurses, doctors, Guardia Civil, police, in total, there are 26,266 people, frontline workers, who are infected as well. And that is 15% of the total number, which is a crazy amount of people who are infected, who are putting their lives on the line to help us recover, or help us stay safe at least. So for anyone who is working frontline, we thank you, and I'm sure everyone in the comments here will be saying thank you to them as well, because they really do an outstanding job to keep us safe. Okay, so let's jump into, first of all, we're going to go into some fake news. I just want to debunk some of the news that has been sent to me over the last 24 hours, and then we'll talk about the real news that has come out over the last 24 hours. So the main thing was the images that have been sent out on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger. A couple of people have sent me the images today of a timeline. And it's basically a timeline of when, I don't know, local shops will open up and parks will be open and sports arenas will be open. This is fake. Nothing has been confirmed. So please, if you do receive any of this, do not pass it on, because it is not factual information. Now, do I think something like this will come out? Yeah, I actually think there would be something like this, because what we don't want is, of course, saying everyone is free and everyone bombarding the streets and going to their local bars, restaurant. That's not going to work. So what I think will probably happen is, yes, a timeline will come out, but there has been no confirmation from the government, any official pages, that this is going to be happening and what timelines. Now, the images that have been shown, they're actually very, very specific with the dates and everything of what is going to be opening up. So where this has actually come from, I do not know, because it is not on any government official pages, and I'm scouring them every single day. So please, if you do receive this, don't send it on until we have the actual facts and the actual truth behind any of this, okay? Also, a lot of people have been sending me messages about the borders are going to be on lockdown till the end of June. And again, this has not been confirmed. Again, it will all depend on any of the other countries, any countries sharing the border with Spain, especially Portugal and France. And of course, all the flights coming into Spain as well, or out of Spain. The borders, as we know, they are still closed. We don't know how long they're going to be closed for, but the order is, at the moment, the only people who can come into Spain are the people who are citizens, Spanish citizens, and have residency in Spain. That is the only people who can come into Spain at the moment. And we've been getting a lot of different messages from husbands and wives saying that their partners are back in the UK or back in Ireland or abroad and they want to come back. Well, without residency, they are not going to be able to get across the border. They will be denied a flight to get back in. They have to have proof of residency, okay? So please stop sending me messages because I get them every single day. So please pass this on to anyone who you know who has another partner in another country and trying to get back. The only suggestion that I could make is ringing the embassy. For example, the British embassy in Alicante here in Spain. Try ringing those, because maybe they'll be able to give you some sort of permission, a temporary permission to be able to get onto a plane. But apart from that, there is nothing else that you'll be able to do. Such a shame. Also, some news came out, and this actually came on the N332, and I did a bit of research on this as well. And yes, there is actually speculation of Guardia Civil allowing Muslims to celebrate Ramadan in the streets. And again, this is not true. No celebrations are to be permitted in public streets or anything. So any celebrations like this is debunked straight away. The Guardia Civil will not allow anything like this for religious purposes. I mean, they cancelled all of Easter, so I don't think they're going to be permitting another religion's celebrations, especially on public streets. So no, again, this is all fake. So if you do hear of any of this, please stop sending it and just debunk it and say that it is fake, okay? And speaking of fake as well, if you guys have been amazing being able to share the information with you guys, because you guys know that I do my research. I like to get government official papers, and the source is actually from government official sources. So this is Facebook pages from the Guardia Civil, from ayuntamientos, basically the pages that provide the authentic information. If someone does send me anything, I will always do my research. So again, if you guys can share this video out to anyone who might be new to these videos, or maybe they won't know about these videos, if you can quickly share this video now, just click on the share button below or tag your friend in this video, because over the last 3 days, we have had over 700 people, new people, who have just joined us and they're first-time viewers. Now, of course, these people have not seen any of my previous videos, so of course they're still asking the questions that I've already answered. So if you can share this information with them, they might be able to find the page, watch a couple of the videos, and hopefully keep themselves safe as well. So please, if you can share this video out to as many people as you can, that will be absolutely amazing. Okay, let's go into the general news that has been happening over the last 24 hours. So, of course, a lot of people are going back to work today, and we will talk about a little bit more about who can go back to work and what measures have to be taken as well. But at the moment, the government have been basically putting in all the essential precautions. Now, of course, we're talking about the major cities where they have underground transport, a metro, subways and stuff like this, but we're also talking about all of Spain as well, but we're mainly focusing on Madrid, Barcelona and the major cities as well, because basically what they have done is they've started releasing a lot of these masks to the public. Now, on the footage that I've seen, it is Guardia Civil police all in the entrances of any public transport, and they are handing out masks. Now, as we know, there are 10 million masks that have been brought to Spain, and over half of these will be technically passed out over the next 5 days, so this working week per se. Now these masks are only single use, so it will be 1 day, 1 mask, and of course if you take them off, this is now basically rubbish. You have to throw it away. It's a shame that so much rubbish will come out of all of this, but these are the single-use masks, okay? But unfortunately, again, the President Sanchez doing this move, offering 10 million masks for free, he's already been criticised by a lot of politicians against the other parties, the political parties as well. And I just want to go back to what he did say in a presentation 4 days ago. And it was so simple, but so real. It is: divided we fail, united we can conquer. This is exactly how we need to be, especially when we're coming, the expats here in Spain. We have to come together, and we can't be fighting amongst each other. This is so crucial in this short period of time that we have left. We've only got 2 weeks left until the lockdown could be lifted. So, we have to stay together, united with this as much as possible, and we can't divide anymore. So any arguing on these comments, please keep it to a minimum at least. Okay, so yes, 10 million masks are to be distributed out to people going on public transport, to everyday jobs, etc. Now, also, these masks, there's going to be another 5 million coming, and those are going to be going to pharmacies, hopefully to a pharmacy that is going to be the nearest to you. And these pharmaceutical companies have already started putting in orders. These pharmacies are putting in orders of thousands on a weekly basis. However, these will go quite quickly. So this is where I plead to anyone who does come across any masks in a pharmacy: do not bulk buy. You do not need to bulk buy. What you should do is buy the necessary amount of what you will need for the next week. So if you're planning to go out for 3 times during that week, then only buy 3 masks, maybe 5, just to be on the safe side. But you should not be buying 10s, 20s, 30s, just so you have them in stock. So please be very careful with these single-use masks. Try not to bulk buy, because there are going to be people who will need these as well. And until they are delivered to all of these pharmacies, then it will be on demand as well. Okay, let's go on to quick tests as well. So 5 million of these quick tests have been ordered, and already 1 million have been administered as well. So 1 million of these quick tests, and these are the quick tests, have been basically 15 minutes to test if you have the virus or not. So over 1 million people who have been tested already. And this has been within the last couple of days, because these tests arrive last Thursday. So it's from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. These 1 million tests have been administered, and this is basically a good sign, because what we can tell, I actually thought the numbers would start going up on the infected because of these tests now coming in. But in fact, what we can see from the results is it is still declining. So this is all great news at the moment, and hopefully it could stay like this for a while. But from today, watching the Moncloa, the announcement from one of the government officials, we are officially at the peak, as in just coming over the peak now. So this means that we should be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And of course, you've seen the results of today, and I always post every day at 12 o'clock the latest news as well, the latest statistics as well. And from seeing the results and from government officials confirming this as well, we have reached the peak officially, which is brilliant. Unbelievable that we have finally reached this peak. So yeah, hopefully we can see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel now, and we can start pushing forwards. It's only 2 more weeks for the first initial lockdown, the 26th, and then who knows what's going to happen after the 26th. We don't know anything yet. A lot of people have been speculating about there's another 15 days or maybe lighter restrictions, but again, nothing has been put in writing, nothing has been announced, so we just have to wait until the 26th. Yay! Okay, let's continue on. Also, there's of course over this last month, because we have been in self-isolation for a month now, over this month there have been just under 500,000 people who have registered for ERTE. When this is basically like a benefit for any workers who have been on leave. So 500,000 workers have been on leave, but the majority of these will actually still have their jobs back. It's the ones who have lost their job and they were fired basically because of the lockdown going into place. These ones will be able to go on to paro, and they will be able to get unemployment wages still, hopefully for a while, until this lockdown comes out. But still, under 500,000 who have actually applied for the benefits for basically sick leave, is what or temporary leave, sorry. So that's a large number, but hopefully we'll start to see those numbers coming down as people are now allowed to go back to work. So hopefully this number will start going down over the coming weeks, but who knows. Also, Salamanca, this was in the news today, and I thought this was an absolutely great thing. And again, I like to look at a lot of the positives here. Salamanca, there's a town in Salamanca that have basically started offering people who have their own business, whether they're self-employed or run a business themselves, if they can prove that they have losses or significant losses, they will automatically get 1,000 euros from the town hall of Salamanca, which I thought was a brilliant idea. It's a shame that, of course, this can't be put out nationwide, but for something like a Salamanca town to start doing this is great, and I hope that other town halls will start to look at what they are doing and hopefully start offering help for anyone who has lost their work. But basically they said that this payment will start after the lockdown has been lifted, so it will basically be help to get you back onto your feet as well. Okay, also in news, some petrol stations will now be closing early afternoons. Now basically with the decree, petrol stations, because they were classed as essential, they were not allowed to close. And now, from the 13th of April, the news has come out that some of these, about 50%, will now be able to close. Of course, they won't have as much traffic going through, so they're going to be struggling too. But they're basically allowed now to close from midday, or not midday, from about 5 o'clock in the afternoon until the next morning. So if you need to go to a petrol station, be careful of this. Some might be closed, some might be open. So yeah, just take a precaution there. Make sure you have enough petrol just to get to a further petrol station, okay? And that's basically it. Another thing, not fake news per se, but just something that has been speculated a bit. Some people have been asking about, can we go on holiday? Well, basically, government officials are saying that, well, we don't know what the situation is going to be like for the summer holidays, because, of course, we're past the Easter holidays and we don't know what's going to happen with that. But some government officials are basically saying, hold off on reserving holidays at the moment. But the way everything's going at the moment, it should likely be that we will be able to have a summer holiday without having too many restrictions. Yes, there will be some restrictions put into place, but reserving a holiday is also okay to do. But if you can wait for a little bit, of course, until the 26th of April, till we know a bit more information, then that's advised. And Brussels, of course, with the European Union, they're having meetings every single day to talk about how they're going to be helping out each country in Europe. And Brussels have spoken about a long-term condition for the elderly till the end of the year. But again, this is not being confirmed, and this is just speculation of what has been said in meetings. So again, it's not fake news per se, because they are talking about it. And yes, I kind of agree that the elderly have been the majority of people who have been affected, especially in residences as well. And I don't know what will actually happen from the 26th of April onwards, but I think there will be some sort of rule where there will have to be limited conditions of people visiting the elderly, or elderly being able to go out into public areas as well. So I don't know what's actually going to happen with that, but if Brussels are talking about it, then I believe that most countries will be talking about this as well. So when we do see some sort of initial response about this, hopefully from the 26th of April, then I will definitely let you know what has actually happened, and of course ages as well, because it's the majority of the people who are elderly. I don't know what age an elderly person will be, you know, it's a number for a lot of people, and especially with the Mediterranean climate that we have and the Mediterranean diet, there are a lot more elder people here in Spain because they are healthy, they're out in the sun, they're getting the vitamin D, having a nice Mediterranean diet. So yeah, it's all weird. Okay, and lastly, but the most important, and again, if you can share this out to any self-employed workers that you have, or builders especially, if you can share this video with them now, tag them in the comments, because this information is going to be crucial for them, okay? Alright, so yesterday when I did the video, I was talking about all the people who can go back to work, and the construction sector was one big sector that can go back to work. However, late last evening, and when I say late, I actually only received this about 11 o'clock last night is when I received this, and it was uploaded in the evening sometime yesterday. So again, it's a Sunday evening, and I would not have known to look on the official government website for new documents coming out. But last night at 11 p.m, a new document was released, and it is a true document. So the people who were actually saying that this was fake and this is not real, no, I'm very, very sorry. This was true. And the reason that I put it out straight away and not waiting until the morning, or waiting until this video at least, is because I knew a lot of people will be going to work, and if they're in construction, then this would affect them as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to talk about the people who are going to work first of all. There are some rules and advice that you should be following as well. I'm going to quickly talk about that, and then we'll jump into people who can work and the document that was released yesterday, okay? Okay, so what you will need, first of all, if you're going to work out there, you will need a document to say where you are going and why you are going. This can be written by yourself if you're self-employed, or it can be written, of course, by a boss. Now, this would include any types of main jobs that are included in the list. And this will also need addresses of the places that you will need to go to, or to repair, or whatever. You'll need all the addresses written down as well. You will need, if you are self-employed, your proof of self-employment payment, and that is including March. So a lot of people who were self-employed, they actually cancelled their self-employment for March. Now, if you haven't paid this and you are not up to date, you will not be able to work. You have to have all the last 3 payments at least to be able to show to the police, okay? You should be using individual transport if possible. However, if you have a company vehicle, and it has to be a company vehicle, then yes, you are allowed 2 in the car with face masks. You have to have masks to be able to travel 2 in a car, 1 in the front driving and 1 in the passenger side in the back, okay? If you have a vehicle that has more than 2 rows, such as 3 or 4 rows, like a minivan, then it is 1 person per row. And that is it. At all times, you should try and keep a 2-meter distance. So if you're an office worker as well, you need to keep 2-meter distance between the people that you are working with. So this will include spreading out desks, spreading out computers, etc. If you are in the construction sector as well, yes, you will have to still keep 2 meters away from people. Now, this will actually basically cause a lot of problems with people who do need to work in pairs. Now, if this is the case, the police and the Guardia Civil are actually advising, if you cannot stay within a 2-meter radius or distance from each other, it is advised not to work. Also, if you show any symptoms, so for example, if you have a cough, a dry throat, or lack of breath and a fever, then you should stop work straight away or immediately. Advise someone in the superior, a boss or a work colleague or something like this. Advise them that you are stopping because you have the symptoms, and self-isolate whilst calling the medical service, okay? And then once you have, let's say you finished your day's work, once you have finished your work, come back and make sure your clothes are into the washing machine straight away and have a shower straight away. That is the advice that has been given out. Of course, you can follow it as you wish, but this is the advice that has been put out, okay? Right. Now, let's go on to the documents. So, the document last night, it was a really, really big surprise. Now, again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a solicitor. I'm an estate agent myself. I can still no longer work until the 26th of April. It's been shown on the documents that I cannot work because, of course, my clientele, I have to meet clientele. I can still work online and I can show properties online with 360 videos and stuff like this, but I can no longer show properties to potential clients. So, this is my job. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not pretending to be a lawyer or a solicitor or anything like that. The only thing that I'm just trying to do here is just to inform people, okay? So if you believe that I have made a mistake with something that I've said or posted, please comment, please message me privately, okay? You can do that on my personal profile, on the profile here, this page, okay? Now, the reason saying this, I put out this post yesterday of the new document that came out yesterday from a government official page. And I automatically, well, this morning at least, at 7 in the morning when I was feeding my daughter, I had a few comments from people saying that this document was fake. It was not. And unfortunately, I then had about 5 or 6 different people messaging me within a 10-minute time frame asking whether this was true and whether this was false. And of course, I then have to rewrite everything and explain to these people that yes, this is true. I also then have to rewrite everything to this person to say, please, this is a misunderstanding. Now, if you're then shouting fake news, fake news, fake news, it then puts a lot more pressure on myself. And this is not my full-time job. This is actually, I've got a full-time family, I've got a full-time job. This is something that I'm doing to help the public here, to help you guys watching. So please, if you think that I've made a mistake, message me privately before starting to call out fake news or something like this. I'm trying to do my best. I really am. And I do appreciate all the people who supported me in the comments saying that I am not fake news and I do my research, because that is the truth. So please, if that is the case and you think that I've made a mistake, message me privately, please, before we can then continue on with a discussion, okay? Right, now with this document, a translated document actually came out today, and that was on the N332. Great communication from them, and a fantastic page. If you do not follow them, make sure you do go and follow them. But I will read out what the document said in English so you guys can understand as well. So, from this document, it's dated the 12th of April 2020. Now, this is exceptional measures regarding intervention building works in existing buildings, okay? So, number one, the suspension of any kind of work that involves an intervention in existing buildings where there are persons not related to the work within the building where the work is to be carried out, due to their permanent or temporary location, or due to the need to move around within the building, or due to the residence in the building, work or others, and therefore interfere with the activity or execution of the work, or with the movement of workers or transfer of materials. So this was the main thing that came out, and of course it's a bit hard to understand straight away, but translated it means that workers in the construction sector can no longer go to any communal places where there are permanent residents in a communal block, okay? The only way that you will be able to work in the construction sector, and you have to do work or remodeling or something like this, the only way that you'll be able to do this is if it is on a fully detached or a detached property, such as a villa or a chalet, or a townhouse that has no communal grounds whatsoever. So this basically discards any work that will be done in apartment blocks where you are sharing floors, sharing a lift or anything like this, because it states that no work they interfere with the activity or the execution of the work or the movement of workers. So movement of workers means if a worker has to go into communal grounds to be able to get to the property, it can no longer go ahead, okay? And also the transfer of materials. If you're a construction worker, you have to have materials. And if you have to take those materials into communal areas to get to the property where you're working, it is not allowed. Now, I'll read on to number 2 here. The works referred to in the previous section, number 1, are excluded from this suspension in which, due to circumstances or the sectorization of the property, no interference occurs with persons not related to the activity of the work. Now, number 2 basically states that any new build properties, this is going to be okay because you do not have the public around you. Any new build properties are normally closed off to the public, so you will not have anyone living in these properties especially, and you will not have any public going onto this construction site. So all new build construction work will continue to carry on as normal, okay? So all high-rise buildings that need to be built, all new build properties such as apartments, villas, chalets, these are all okay as long as no one is living in that current space. That's basically it, okay? And number 3, this was the last one. Additionally, any specific works carried out within the building with the purpose of making an urgent or emergency repairs or facilities or breakdowns, as well as the surveillance tasks, are also excluded from this suspension. So what does this mean? Number 3, basically, if you have any emergency construction work or emergency leakage or anything that is classed as an emergency or urgent, this is still okay to do. And it doesn't matter if the person is living in the property or not, okay? So that's basically it. That was the new document that came out. And it's, again, a lot of people ask, do I ever sleep? Yeah, maybe. I'm living off coffee at the moment. So basically, this document is the legal tender that was put into place yesterday. So all the people who are in the construction sector, basically, you have to only work on individual properties that do not have any communal grounds around them. That's it. That's all there is to it. If you have work in apartments, you will no longer be able to work on this, okay? Now, this will actually go on too, and I did write a little bit more on this as well, okay? So basically, the workers on construction sites and factories, they're able to go back to work. Builders may not work on properties which are being lived in by owners or tenants. That is including painting as well. Painting is not classed as an emergency or urgency. So if someone is in that property, you will no longer be able to paint that property. However, if someone is out of the property, then you will be able to work, okay? You won't be able to work on areas that may be risk of coming into contact with the public, such as apartment blocks or communal grounds. And this will only be for emergencies only. So that's what I wrote down there for today. I also mentioned yesterday about self-employment. Then yes, self-employed workers such as electricians, plumbers, gasmen, these are all okay to work. These still, you have to have the correct documents. Like I said, you have to have proof of payment of self-employment to make sure that you are able to work, and a list of the places that you have to go. And again, these should be only for emergencies only, okay? So, and it will be also if you're on a construction site and there's no sort of interference with the public, this is also okay to do. But if you do have to go to somewhere where there are tenants and permanent residents there, you can go, but it only has to be for emergency cases only, okay? Right, moving on. Hairdressers as well. A lot of comments yesterday about hairdressers and are they able to work. Salons cannot open, okay? At the start of the lockdown, that was the case, but salons now, they cannot open. The only sort of hairdressing that can actually take place for mobile hairdressers, and again, legal hairdressers, you have to be self-employed to be able to go out and cut someone's hair, but this is only for the emergency situations, such as someone helping with the elderly, someone disabled or not able to wash their own hair, okay? That is the only cases that you should be allowed to go out and to do your mobile hairdressing, okay? And a big question, which I was very surprised about yesterday, was dog groomers. Now, dog groomers, again, they won't... what I've read and what I've basically come with, dog groomers, they won't be able to work in the normal circumstances because, again, this won't be really classed as an essential work that will need to be continued. However, this actually will be okay for emergency cases. So basically it comes under the category of tending to animals or livestock. And if it's an emergency, then yes, you will technically be able to continue on dog grooming. But again, you have to be self-employed. You have to be up to date with all your taxes, self-employment papers as well. So just please take that all into consideration as well. Now, I know I'm going to be bombarded with questions after this, so please be very, very patient with me because I'm still trying to reply to all the comments that actually come out yesterday, today, all the messages that came through today. It's just a lot. It really is a lot. And I know I say this every single video, but you guys really are keeping me going. I had a very tough morning this morning, especially with my daughter and just lack of sleep, I think. And the comments coming through saying that it was fake news for myself. It was very, very hard. But I just want to send my appreciation to everyone who's messaged me just to say thank you. And that for me, that actually perked me up a lot today. I was quite down this morning, but the messages that came through this morning, this afternoon, just to say thank you for doing this, thank you for the translating, thank you for everything. I just really, really appreciate those messages because it did pick me up. It really, really did pick me up. So I know you know who you are, who's watching right now. So thank you again, seriously, for those messages. It really did perk me up a little bit. Right guys, that is it for today. It's a nice half-an-hour video and I hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm going to be back again tomorrow from 4 p.m. and I'm hopefully going to have a bit more of a rundown on more jobs that are able to work. So hopefully we'll get a bit more information from government officials. Maybe a full document will be released, but who knows. Until then, 8 p.m. every single night, get out onto those balconies, give a round of applause. If you guys can respond to your own little questions and respond to each other's answers, I really appreciate it because it does save me a lot of time as well. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m, okay? You guys can have the day off today, no question of the day. I'll do it tomorrow, okay? Bye, guys.